I'm Bob Becker from Fearless Records, and you're watching The Yard.
Excited. Now here's a little note for you guys. This is going to be interview number 1. When I first got here, Bob said, what did you tell me?
I said you should be interviewing me when I'm ready to check out of this thing 5-10 years from now, because my interview will be a lot different.
So this is part 1. Keep that in mind.
I got to keep it clean, and I got to play nice.
You got to play nice. So I look forward to part 2, and we'll do that over a couple beers probably. Hey, welcome to another outstanding episode of The Yard. I'm standing here with my good friend Bob Becker from Fearless Records. Yes, that's right, Fearless Records. How you doing, Bob?
I'm good, Jason.
Good.
What's happening?
Welcome to The Yard. I want to thank you for inviting us here to your office here in Huntington Harbor. Look at this thing. How would that be? That's what you look at every morning. Tell me, Bob, how did Fearless Records start?
It kind of started as a hobby. I was in a band, a fledgling band, realized that I wasn't a very good musician. I quit that band. It was my friend's band, the Whitecaps, and I was still friends with them. It wasn't a bad breakup or anything like that. And then one of my best friends that I grew up with started singing, and he was actually better than I was. So, I had a pretty good job. I was making pretty good money, and they asked me if I'd want to put out their record, and I said, I don't know how, but sure. And so I put out a little 7-inch, their Salad Days 7-inch, and figured out how to manufacture and got some artwork and all that. And then I used to go to record stores and put them on consignment. Some stores would kick me out and say no, and some would actually take them. I would go to the band shows and try to sell them and all of that, and then I got hit up by a couple other local bands to do the same thing. And even though I wasn't making any money or anything, it was fun. It was something different than what I was doing.
What was it that you were doing before this?
I was actually working in the 9000 building on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, and I was selling precious metals, gold and silver, to millionaires, investors on the phone. And I was making pretty good money, and I was pretty good at it. I could talk, I could sell them.
Nice.
But it was, I don't know, it wasn't really something I enjoyed that much. It's funny because I was making a lot of money doing that, and then with this, I put out a few records and we were doing mail order, and I'd have people send me, like from overseas or Japan or whatnot, even around here, the U.S., send me like $3 cash in the mail off my mail order catalog to buy a 7-inch. And I'd be more excited about that than the $1,000 a week paycheck or when I closed a big deal.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Even though it was only $3, I felt like I was creating something. I was like, wow, this is cool. Somebody actually bought this thing, this music that I put out. My wife thought I was nuts. I was losing a lot of money. But anyways,
that's how it started. So just a straight up grassroots, handing out flyers. I mean,
I booked,
from the gutter.
I booked the bands. I did some shows. I promoted shows to help them get on bigger shows. I would call up bigger bands to play with them. Pennywise and Strung Out and some of those type of bands, Epitaph, Fat Records bands, Guttermouth, that type of thing, and try to get my bands on the bill and just guerrilla, man. I had to just do anything I could, really.
So starting from the Whitecaps, who are good friends of mine as well. Bob and I have known these guys for a long time, hang out with them. And when I first walked in the door, Bob said some really exciting things happened this week. What happened that made your week so fantastic?
Well, we put out a record last week, a band by the name of Mayday Parade, and we got their first week numbers, and it is the number 10 record on the Billboard Top 200 today.
Number 10?
Number 10.
Wow.
Overall. Out of every record released last week, it's the number 10 record.
Number 10 in the world?
In the U.S.
In the U.S.
Yeah.
Well, still.
Yeah.
That's
In the whole U.S.
fucking
If you
incredible.
go on Billboard.com or you pick up next month's Billboard magazine, you'll see it's number 10.
Number-
Which, coming from where I came from, to have a number 10 record is pretty, it's pretty great.
Yeah, I'll show you guys around the office a little bit when we're done here. There's gold records on the wall. It's just really a cool place. I've known Bob for a while. We've never really talked about business. Just hung out. But
Because you're punk rock and you don't know any of my bands.
That-
You're not punk rock anymore.
That's true. I have listened to a couple of your bands. I met the absolutely. To up and coming bands, to young kids today. What would you say to them? What would be the best way to get noticed by a record company?
Get good.
Good point.
Practice. I mean, one of the things is with the internet the way it is right now, I think people will put content up too fast. It's so easy to get content and put it up there, and then your first impression that you're getting, and you may get like 20,000 YouTube plays on your little home video or whatnot, but that doesn't mean anything if it isn't good, and you're going to attract all this attention from guys like me, and then if it's not good, then it's like, oh, they got a lot of plays, they got a lot of friends to like it, but they're not ready. So I just think that some bands need to be a little more patient when it comes to what they're creating, and make sure it's really good, and put your time into practicing instead of fixing your hair and getting the right tattoos, and making sure your video looks good and your clothes look good and all that. Like, get good at playing and writing songs. It's all about songs. It's all about being able to write, and it's also about performing. Like, you go to play your first gig, and you've got all this hype, and it's your first gig, and you get up there and suck. Nobody's going to come to your second gig.
True
Like,
enough.
make sure your craft is good first before you get it out there. That's the best advice I could give to bands.
Now, is that how you find bands? Is from the internet, or do you physically have a crew that goes out?
Both. The early days I had to get really early and find stuff that had nothing going on. I can be a little more patient myself now and wait for bands that are actually bubbling under, and I can actually compete with bigger labels. In fact, we had a band yesterday that we're competing with Epitaph for, and I think we're going to get it. Whereas
awesome.
if you asked me 10 years ago when I started if I could ever sign a band over Epitaph, I would think you're nuts, because Epitaph's a powerhouse. But that just shows kind of how far we've come, and it's pretty exciting.
Let's show them how the hookers do it. Well, I'm not sure how I got here, but I think I'm gonna stay. Sure was someone's hero, have a national holiday. 500 in punk years. 500 in punk years. Don't make it into a movie, no need to write a book. Another junkie story in the toes and times it took. 500 in punk years. 500 in punk years.
We listened to it a couple weeks ago. Are you going to be signing that lady?
Oh, you.
I'm kidding. It was after a night of drunkenness, and I'm just.
It's the worst demo we ever got in the history of Fearless. And somebody told her she knew how to sing, but that wasn't the case. She's one of those early ones on American Idol that you see the first taping, the first showing.
Okay, yeah.
That they're all putting their heads down, the judges, and yeah, we definitely get some of those, but this one was exceptionally bad.
Yeah, we enjoyed it though after
yeah,
a few
it
of this
sounded
and
great,
that. Yeah, it was good fun. All right, so we got to see inside of a real life record company with killer bands that are touring the whole world. And I just want to take this moment to thank my good friend Bob for allowing us, the yard, the viewers in here to see what really goes on. We probably won't even know of a tenth of what's going on, but we kind of got an overview of what's happening. Look out for his bands or everything in between.
Everything house.
Website, fearlessrecords.com.
Yes.
Go to fearlessrecords.com, support the company, look up the bands. They're all over YouTube. Like I said, I met the singer of Pierce the Veil, looked up his music on YouTube. I think it had over 1 million hits.
Yeah.
And the kids were actually really cool. They they humored an old man, an old wannabe rock star, and chatted with me for a while. So it was pretty cool. Good guys. But thanks again. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and keep watching the yard.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good stuff. I want to thank a Raider fan for this 12-pack of Guinness Lager, because the Chiefs are kicking ass and the Raiders still suck. Hope you enjoyed the interview with Bob. Not only is Bob got a great business, but he's a great guy. He's actually a personal friend of mine and my wife's, and we like to hang out with him and his wife on occasion. A few other friends, Glenn and Kathy, and just, drink a few beers and shoot the breeze. Good guy, good people. Support his stuff. This episode, we're not necessarily going to be cooking, but I'm going to show you a product that I found downtown on Tuesday nights. Now, Tuesday nights here in Surf City, they close off Main Street, and it's like a farmer's market. And there's all these people with crafts and skateboards and surfboards and fresh produce. Most of you have been there, so you know what I'm talking about. But my wife and I were walking by this one little booth and smelled garlic. Now, we both love garlic to death. I mean, who doesn't like garlic, right? And anyway, it was this guy that had this garlic grater, and it also takes the peel off of the little cloves. You know what a pain in the ass is? I put garlic in everything, and most nights the first thing I do when I start to cook is I break my garlic down, and it takes a while. Let's be honest. So this thing is awesome. It comes with this little thing right here. Looks like, use your imagination. But what it does is you put the garlic in there and you roll it, and the husk comes right off, or the covering comes right off, so you get the fresh raw garlic. This is your grater, and it grades it, and it actually minces the garlic. Whoa, that was close. Minces the garlic down so you can use it in anything. In sauces, in salad dressings, in anything. I mean, I love garlic. I put it in everything. So I'm going to show you how this works. I wish I knew the name of the guy's company, but he was right in front of Jack's, I want to say, just up a little bit, up Main Street from Jack's on that side of the street. And then what you do is you do your garlic, and then you scoop it off onto your plate, and you're good to go. It also came with this little mill press, and all together it was 20 bucks. So I'll give you a little demonstration of it. Support local people. Again, I wish I knew the name of the guy, but I don't. But I've tried it out once, and I love it. So if you like garlic, you're a fan of the minced type of garlic, or even just to peel it. Hell, this thing right here is worth 20 bucks if you use garlic a lot. Okay, so here we go.